Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We will be beginning this webinar in just a few minutes as more people come into the meeting. Thank you all so much again.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody who is here today. We thank you so much for bringing your beautiful and bright faces to take part in this historic event in which we are all here to participate in today. My name is Andre, and I will be emceeing for this MOU signing webinar between two organizations, HWPL and Pop Movement. In the beginning of this webinar, I would like to welcome up our hosts to go into an introduction and greeting for all of us that are here. And we will first begin by playing a video.
With the proclamation of the Declaration of World Peace on May 25, 2013, HWPL, an NGO associated with the UNECOSOC, was established to create a world of peace free of wars. HWPL is carrying out peace initiatives in 170 countries around the world. HWPL aims to develop a legal instrument that will ensure peace in the world so that people can live in harmony, transcending borders, race, and religion. On March 14, 2016, the 10 articles and 38 clauses of the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War was proclaimed. In May 2018, HWPL introduced the DPCW to the UN permanent representatives of 145 countries. Receiving the support from the international community, the DPCW will be submitted to the UN in the form of a draft resolution. Specifically, the governments of Eswatini, Seychelles, Comoros, and Antigua and Barbuda declared their official support for the DPCW. The Central American Parliament passed a resolution in support of the DPCW, and Pan-African Parliament, the legislative body of the African Union consisting of 55 African countries, signed an MOU with HWPL supporting the DPCW. Furthermore, various European political leaders and experts in the fields of education and law support the peaceful unification of the Korean Peninsula, which is a symbolic measure to cease wars and achieve peace. They are carrying out various activities as the Advisory Council. Currently, advocacy activities supporting the implementation of the DPCW, such as Legislate Peace Campaign and Peace Letter Campaign, are being carried out around the world by the civil society. People around the world are becoming one with HWPL and establishing a peace network in the fields of politics, education, religion, media, youth, and women's organizations. Religious leaders are taking the lead in building peace and ceasing conflicts via 250 HWPL warp offices in 128 countries. Peace education awakens students' recognition of the value of living as a citizen on this earth in the era of peace. HWPL Peace Education curriculum is being introduced not only to the educational institutions, but also at the governmental level. Through peace education, our children will grow as peace messengers and protect a lasting peace in the world. HWPL World Peace Summit, a festival to the family of peace, is a time to witness achievements made for peace and to commit to the work of peace that needs to be done in the future. At the September 18th HWPL World Peace Summit held in 2014, where around 200,000 participants gathered, the implementation of international law for peace and achievement of religious harmony was proposed as the solution to build a peaceful world. At the 4th annual commemoration of the HWPL World Peace Summit held in 2018, MOAs and MOUs were signed with many international organizations, including 5 ministries of education and major media agencies in 12 countries, to spread a culture of peace. Through 30 world peace tours visiting 71 countries, heads of state, prime ministers, chief justices, and religious leaders became a part of HWPL Peace Advisory Council, and journalists around the world became HWPL publicity ambassadors, taking the lead to publicize HWPL's peace activities. As a result of the efforts to resolve the conflict in Mindanao, Philippines, January 24th Mindanao Peace Agreement Day was declared. Also, HWPL days such as Declaration of World Peace Day and September 18th World Alliance of Religions Day were designated in various countries around the world. The efforts to remember and commemorate peace are being achieved through HWPL Peace Museum, Library, and Peace Park. HWPL is making efforts with the world to cease wars and to leave a world of peace as a legacy to the future generations. The peace movement of HWPL, joined by all people around the world, will change the future of mankind to peace. For a new era of eternal prosperity that everyone has dreamed of, we will follow the path of peace together as HWPL.
I hope we all enjoyed the video. There will be at least one or two more showed in this webinar. So I hope everybody is ready to experience more from this partnership and from this webinar. We will now hear words from HWPL New York Director, Amanda.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am the HWPL New York Director. Thank you for joining us today. I am honored to stand before you as we embark on a significant journey together. Today, we are not merely signing an MOU, we are sowing the seeds of a transformative partnership. This marks the beginning of a crucial alliance between HWPL and Pop Movement. Our shared vision and commitment to addressing climate change as a profound human rights crisis set the stage for challenging inequities and forging pathways towards a more just and sustainable future. The theme of our webinar, Redefining Climate Change as a Human Rights Crisis, Challenging Inequities, couldn't be more timely or relevant. Climate change is no longer just an environmental issue. It is a human rights crisis and disproportionately affects the most vulnerable among us. It exacerbates existing inequalities, impacts livelihoods, displaces communities, and threatens the very fabric of our global society. Recognizing this reality compels us to act with urgency and compassion. Our collaboration with Pop Movement represents a powerful step forward in addressing these challenges. This partnership is not just an agreement on paper. It is a testament to our mutual dedication to advocacy, education, and action. By working together, we aim to amplify our efforts, share resources, and build a stronger, more resilient network committed to climate justice and human rights. This MOU is a pledge to stand united in the face of adversity. It is a commitment to empower young people, amplify their voices, and support their initiatives. Together, we will foster a generation of leaders who understand the interconnectedness of climate change and human rights, and who are equipped to challenge inequities head on. As we move forward, let us remember that our strength lies in our unity. The flow of positive change is unstoppable when driven by collective action and unwavering resolve. Let us embrace this opportunity to make a lasting impact, ensuring that our efforts ripple outwards, inspiring others to join our cause. In conclusion, today marks a significant milestone, but it is only the beginning. Let us continue to collaborate, innovate, and advocate for a world where climate justice and human rights are upheld for all. Together, we can create the change we wish to see, and together, we will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda, for your well thought out and beautifully said speech. We will now welcome up to hear from Dr. Ash Pachari, Senior Mentor of Pop Movement.
Greetings, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you, and as my dear friends, and I should say family, whom I'm united with here today, in mind, heart, and soul, and many I know who are not on this call. I just want to reinforce and reiterate the fact that this coming together is, in fact, precious at not just the level of signing a document and memorandum of understanding, but really taking it to the next level, which is to mobilize the youth of the world and the world at large to come together as the great universal family that we are. And I think going back to those values is a very, very important step for us, especially at this moment in history. Director Amanda already underscored that climate change is for real. Our window of opportunity is small, it's rapidly shrinking. And as our co-founder of the POP movement, where POP stands for Protect Our Planet, had said, and I quote, climate change, it's here. If we don't react, war, pestilence, and famine will follow close behind. And sadly, we're at this moment in history where we witness to all of these things and geopolitics, which then take over. But I should say that if we've got people in the world who are hungry, we will have. And it is our part as concerned citizens of this planet to come together and to come together with values of love, compassion, caring, and unity to address these issues. And I think those are such fundamental human values. So for us to be able to hold hands and unite hearts and join in taking action is absolutely key. And the values that will drive the action will be even more important. And I think this coming together with HWPL is so meaningful because from the very first instance of our connection, we knew that we were really truly unified in our values. And it will take a movement, and we consider ourselves collectively as this movement to not just protect our planet, but to do it while creating and nurturing and garnering stronger values of love, togetherness, and being united as a global family. And as the very famous principle, which is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, where that is a Sanskrit term implying the universe is one family, is truly the inspiration for our action. And so today and every day, we celebrate this beautiful coming together with members of our very own family, HWPL, all of you here, and many I know who are not here, but we will certainly work together to protect our planet and come together to support communities, to do it founded on a framework of justice and human rights. And together we will be the change we want to see in this world, as our great father of the nation in India, Mahatma Gandhi, quoted, said. And so I just want to say, I quote him, together we will get there, and time is of the essence. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much to all of you, and I celebrate this coming together, and I do it through action, inspired by the heart and the mind and the soul. And I invite all of you to please join us, our family. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ash, for the beautiful and also very meaningful words. Once again, my name is Andre, and I'm going to be emceeing for this webinar. And I do want to say that it's wonderful to be here with everybody today. I know that we are all attending from different time zones, which means we are attending at different times in the day. And yet, despite this, we're coming together in one heart in order to announce this beautiful partnership in which we hope will create lasting peace and change. I will now take time to introduce both of the organizations participating in this partnership today. Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, or HWPL for short, is an international peace organization focused on the cessation of armed conflicts and wars and creating a culture of peace around the world. HWPL has 252 branches in over 123 different countries and is an NGO affiliated with the UN Department of Global Communications and in special consultative status with the UN Economic and Social Council. HWPL transcends culture, religion, ideology, and boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in global society. HWPL has three major focuses, including institutional peace through passing the 10 articles and 38 clauses of the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War, or DPCW, as a resolution within the United Nations. The DPCW embodies the principles and means to achieve sustainable peace, prevention, and resolution of conflict, along with spreading a culture of peace. Our next major focus is religious harmony, in which we bring those of different religious backgrounds together through open dialogues and discussions, helping us to all better understand first what we have in common with one another rather than our differences. Lastly, the focus of peace education, in which we create curriculum and teaching material that enlightens one another on the fundamental values of freedom, peace, and love towards ourselves, one another, and our planet. Next, I will introduce Protect Our Planet, or POP movement, which currently reaches over 129 countries around the world. The POP movement is a nonprofit 501c3 organization founded by the late Dr. Rajendra Kumar Pachauri, former chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize winning Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, and Dr. Ash Pachauri, who we heard from, senior mentor of POP movement. The POP movement is a global initiative designed to address the urgent need to share information and knowledge with youth on solutions to protect the global commons, achieve sustainable development goals adopted by the UN, mitigate climate change, and adapt to its growing impacts. The POP movement mobilizes and mentors youth worldwide to take collective action inspired by knowledge needed to mitigate climate change and protect the Earth's threatened ecosystems. We are proud to announce the ongoing partnership between our two organizations to achieve our goals of education and sustainability. And we welcome and are grateful for all of our audience members as well. I will now take the time to move on to our keynote speech portion of our webinar today. Each organization will have a specialist from their respective organization to speak further regarding some of their key initiatives. We will first welcome Dr. Cho, the General Director of HWPL Global 5 International Peace Youth Group, or IPYG.
Hello. Hello. Greetings, everyone. Yeah, greetings, everyone. And thank you so much for your previous speeches and openings. Very impressed with everything. Yeah, greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Cho, and I'm currently serving as the IPYG Global 5 Branch General Director. And I'm also a public health physician, a doctor working in South Korea. I'm very much honored to be speaking on this very important topic of redefining climate change as a human rights crisis. And I look forward to this short time to share my real heart for everyone here. Yeah. As I mentioned, this is my title. I'll move on to the next page. As I mentioned, I'm a physician working at public health center, and thankfully, there was an intersection between my profession and peace. And that's why I ended up creating this health education course for the fourth year of the YEPC, which is an educational program made in IPYG. And it was during that process that I actually became interested in this amazing climate change. I was actually writing about heat stroke. Okay? This is actually an image that I made. And heat stroke and climate change are very closely related. But the fact is that hot weather brings other health problems as well. For every degree of increase in global average temperature, deaths from respiratory diseases increased by about 10%. And cataracts will also become more common. And the incidence of malignant melanoma is expected to increase by 50% by 2040. So there are also mental health issues that are particularly prevalent among those traumatized by extreme weather events, those who have lost their livelihoods, and those who have been thrown out on the streets. A study published a few years ago blamed climate disruption, climate change, for the suicides of nearly 60,000 farm workers in India over the past 30 years. Highlighting the poor lives of farmers in South Asia, the study showed that a 1 degree increase in temperature during the farming season leads to approximately 67 more suicides. There are also direct links between a warming planet and mental health. A paper published in 2021 found that excessive humidity is linked to increased suicide rates, especially among women and young people. And people with mental illnesses may suffer more from sleep deprivation, the tropical nights, and medications such as antidepressants may be used more. Anxiety about the future is affecting more and more young people, and today, nearly 1 billion people around the world suffer from mental illness. The impact of climate change on mental health is not yet officially known, but it could prove to be a major disaster later this century. In the midst of this situation, I learned about climate change, and I believe it was a valuable opportunity that led me to today's meeting. So let's go to the next slide, and there's a number. 15.05. Are you aware of this number? A few years ago, it was 14.9, and this year it's 15.05. As most of you here probably know, this number is the average temperature of the Earth right now. If you go to the next slide, you'll see 13.7, and which is the average global temperature before the industrialization. And we're up about 1.5 degrees in about 170 years. If a 1.5 degrees Celsius increase doesn't sound like much, remember that this is the average temperature. Okay. In some parts of the world, the rise is much greater, and a rise of just 2 degrees would be unprecedented in human history. A child born in 2020 will face a much harsher world than their grandparents. And according to one study, they will experience 7 times more heat waves, twice as many droughts, and 3 times as many floods and devastating crop failures than babies born in 1960s. The reality could be worse and will be much harsher for billions of people living in poor countries. More broadly, young people under 40 today, actually including me, will experience more frequent extreme weather events as the planet heats up. The devil is in the detail. The devil is in the detail, as the saying goes. It means that something that looks simple on the surface hides a complex problem when you dig deeper. Climate change is similar. It seems simple enough to deal with just 1 or 2, but the impact of those 1 or 2 degrees Celsius is so complex and devastating that it's hard to actually model. So climate change in the end takes away the right to health, human rights to health, the right to life, the right to housing, and even the right to water and sanitation. But the most depressing aspect of the climate change emergency is that we've been warned a long time that if left unchecked, it will lead to catastrophic disasters. But we have chosen to turn a deaf ear and not act. This should change now. We need to start with our youth to know and realize the seriousness of climate change and the practical consequences it will bring. And that's where IPYG is also focusing on. I'll show you a picture on the next slide. On June 21st, 2023, we hosted an event at Ulaanbaatar National Park in Mongolia to mark the launch of the Green Wave of Peace in Mongolia tree planting project. The event was attended by nearly 40 government officials, including the advisor for youth development policy in the office of the president of Mongolia and the head of the deputy prime minister, and also as well as more than 1,000 citizens. This project stems from this president of Mongolia's pledge to plant 1 billion trees by 2030 to combat climate change and prevent desertification. And HWPL supports the Mongolian government's national movement to plant 1 billion trees. And through this event, we aim to promote a culture of peace and engage civil society in fulfilling Article 10 of the DPCW, which is spreading the culture of peace. So yeah, HWPL has pledged to plant 100,000 trees across Mongolia, and 50 peace trees and 3,700 flowers have already been planted in this Ulaanbaatar National Park. So let me briefly, it's almost the end, okay? It's almost the end, yeah. Let me briefly tell you more about some work that IPYG is doing across the world. And please don't forget that IPYG is an affiliated organization under HWPL, so just in case. So as you can see on the screen, there are also a lot of branches worldwide working with IPYG, over 1,000 organizations in 119 countries. And I'll share some pictures each continent, respectively. And it would be very great if I had about like 2 nights and 3 days. But unfortunately, I only have 10 minutes and I'm running out of time. So I'll have to briefly go over the photos. So please forgive me. So this one is for Asia. Okay, so we have a lot of pictures, but we selected some few of them. And on the left upper corner, we can see some volunteer works that we're doing. This is another branch. And also we're doing a lot of like peace sports and also education. I'll move on to the next slide. And we also have an annual network session offline with peace youth leaders around the world, as you can see on the left upper corner over here. And you can see some other pictures that we're working throughout Asia. Next one is Europe. We also have this online session if we are just like this. And also, we also have some kind of discussion board. Yeah. And also YEPC, which is also an educational program. And for Africa, yeah, you can also check the C over here, such as plugging. We also do a lot of things. And next is America, which is also a very important continent. And we are really blessed to work as the peace work on the peace initiatives in it's Oceania, I'm sorry, in Oceania also. And next is America. So this one is the last page that I prepared. And what I want to tell you is that these activities are being carried out in 12 branches of HWPL around the world. And in the near future, after today's MOU, I would like to continue various activities together in alliance with Pop Movement. So I'm very much looking forward to it. So consequently, HWPL and also IPYG as an affiliated organization also hope to cooperate with Pop Movement worldwide with each branches. Finally, I'll close this keynote speech by reading our commitment based on a speech by John F. Kennedy. So it's like, you can hear me, right? Just as the vision of putting a man on the moon in less than a decade brought hope to the era of Cold War, so we bring hope to the world through our action toward climate change. So this one is my message. I dedicated this time to the climate activists around the world who are fighting day in and day out against ignorance, blame, disinformation, and outright denial. But you will win this fight. We will win this fight because you have no reason to lose. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Dr. Cho for your informative, bright, insightful, and educational speech. Personally, I've learned a lot, actually. I hope everyone here has learned a lot too. Next, we will welcome up Mr. Silva Samuel from Protect Our Planet movement.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, it's Okori Samuel. Yeah. Okay. So today, I will be speaking about the POP initiatives in Nigeria and also across the world. And then I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much and welcome everyone once again to this wonderful webinar. And today we'll be talking about, our major focus today will be on environmental justice with a major focus on practical solution for environmental justice. And why this topic is very, very important, I'll also be talking about some of the findings that we discovered during this work and how we can be able to make sure that we protect our planet in a more sustainable way. Yes, so today I'll be talking about a case study I carried out in the urban slump of my community through the intervention of the POP Nigeria initiative. And first, before even talking about that, I would like to talk about what the POP Nigeria initiative is all about. So the POP Nigeria initiative emerged as a response to significant scientific evidence highlighting a vast communication gap exacerbating inequality in addressing climate change issues, particularly in climate vulnerable communities. And that does not negate the need for us to intervene. And this community called the Mako community, as we can see, is an urban slump that is highly impacted by environmental crisis, which is a myriad of disasters impacting over 80,000 lives. And among these 80,000 lives, we have about 60% of women and children in this community. Part of the findings we discovered in this community, or part of the major need that we intervene in this community, is the vulnerability of this community. As you can see already described in the picture, the community is highly vulnerable to flood, coastal erosion, warmer temperature, and depletion of aquatic biodiversity. By the depletion of aquatic biodiversity, before now, this community is mostly known for fishing. However, since they are facing a lot of water pollution, they cannot be able to access most of these ecosystem services. Warmer temperature, the temperature becomes warmer and even hotter as the day goes. And coastal erosion, they have experienced diverse coastal erosion, which has even led to loss of life, and flooding too has affected the community so well that it has prevented most of them from even having access to quality education and health facilities. And the key findings that we discovered during this project is child and maternal mortality. In this project, I would like to highlight that before we engaged in this project, we came to this community in 2022, where we first carried out our field survey and discovered that this community is highly vulnerable to climate change impact. And part of the collaborators we initiated this project with, or this research survey, was with UNICEF of Nigeria. And from 2022 to 2023, we are looking for how best to help this community. In as much as we got a promising hope from UNICEF, however, it wasn't forthcoming. And as part of the things that POP Nigeria initiative is all about, which is a initiative of the POP movement is to intervene, especially at the time that is needed in addressing climate change issues. POP Nigeria initiative came into the picture in making sure that we are able to carry out our first pilot project in this community in response to the findings we discovered through our survey. And another thing was infectious disease outbreak. Disease outbreak is rampant in this community, which include cholera, malaria, measles, chickenpox in this community as a result of the contaminated water and also how they have been exposed to a lot of things. As you can see, the water is highly polluted and also the waste as well is something else. Educational inequality is ravaging this community, which marks part of high-level key findings we discovered during the research. We also discovered mental health deterioration in this community, as a lot of people have been battling with series of traumas and nightmares as a result. And we discovered weak housing structure, as you can see here. About this housing structure is very weak. As such, coastal erosion and flooding makes this community even prone to a lot of disasters. This community could be seen as disaster awaiting to happen. During our intervention, which we saw as a pilot project, we engaged with the community stakeholders and chiefs, and part of which is engaging with about 50 stakeholders of the community. By my end right is the two paramount rulers, while I am sitting behind. The two paramount rulers, we are in attendance in this particular stakeholders engagement. I would like to highlight a major part of the things that we are able to achieve in this engagement, which includes conflict resolution and peace building. Before we came into this community, these two paramount rulers and the two communities have been in a major conflict for over 30 years, and they were always having a clash among themselves, including the youth of these communities. This project gave room for that peace avenue where these two communities were able to come together as a result and come up with a solution where we are able to intervene in addressing climate change issues. These two communities, particularly the youth, have also been involved in conflict, but through the project, we are able to bring peace among these youth and collaborate jointly to make the project a success. And we also engage in strategic partnerships, not just with the community, but with Lagos state government in which the community exists. We are able to get the state waste management authority to this community. They haven't been in this community for the past 10 years. However, through this project, we are able to get them to this community. And we also initiated a strategic partnership with them in this community. We are also able to achieve inclusivity in this community where both women, youth, and children, and even community leaders participated fully in the project as they supported in every aspect to make sure that the project was a success. The POP Nigeria project structure embedded a community systematic approach where all the interventions we brought in this community were community-driven and community-led. This is as a result of promoting more sustainability and also striking more inclusivity in the project. And our interventions were risk management and preparedness. So we were able to educate some of the children in this community about the risk of engaging in the contaminated water, and even members of the stakeholders about risk preparedness. However, this project is like a pilot phase, so we can't even initiate most of the things in terms of putting early warning signals and all to avert some of these climate change vulnerabilities that may arise in the future. We also educated the kids and even the community members about climate, about wash literacy. Wash means water, waste, water, sanitation and hygiene. That is wash, water, sanitation and hygiene. So we are able to educate them about that and also about sanitation. And we engaged in capacity building and community engagement in the community as a whole. This was part of our sanitation project we carried out in the community. As you can see, we donated about 10 shovels, over 50 pickers, and over 3,600 waste bags to the community for subsequent sanitation exercises And the community, as a result, made a pledge and also promised that they'll be engaging in cleanups once a month. And they also formed an environmental sanitation group immediately, which was made up of the two community youth groups. And this was a WhatsApp group that I am also part of, which shows more like sustainability of the project itself. And this is more like a picture of everyday life in Makoko community. So you can see how the community looks like in a nutshell, like everything that goes on from canoeing to housing to people moving around. So this is the community itself. And you can also see, without saying a lot, that the community is vulnerable to climate change issues. And I would like to talk about more about the pop movement, which has been a great platform, not just for me, but also for youth across the world, as they have been engaged in a lot of projects in addressing climate change issues, amplifying youth voices, and even addressing climate change health-related issues, promoting research-based learning and knowledge-based learning. And I also like to talk about Pop Africa as well, which is made up of African youth groups and initiatives that is catalyzed together by the pop movement in addressing climate change issues across the globe. And with this, I would like to say thank you very much. And don't forget that the pop movement is at the forefront of addressing climate change issues, as we have been able to reach out to over 2 million lives globally and have spread across to over 90 or 100 countries as we speak. And we hope to engage more with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for your insightful, clear, and powerful words. I believe we all were able to also understand better the situations in which you represented. And I hope this really does put a passion within our hearts to combat these issues and work together in order to find solutions and ways in which we can address the problems. And so I will now go into the next portion of our webinar for today. We will now proceed to have a brief explanation regarding the joint educational program which HWPL and Pop Movement will be hosting together in the coming months. We hope this might give a brief glimpse into our upcoming educational collaboration. And so, the details of this collaboration are as follows. The duration will be from July to August, and the objective is to integrate peace and climate change education and fostering a comprehensive understanding among participants. And the target audience will be the employees and volunteers from both organizations, and especially the youth. We hope that this joint educational program will solidify further the partnership between HWPL and Pop Movements, and as well help create the culture of information and education, as well helping us to understand too, how can we address the issue of climate change? And how can we be those advocates who help to create a more peaceful world through finding solutions to these various difficulties in which the world currently faces? I believe Dr. Ash will be also speaking for this portion as he has a few slides to share. So I will welcome up Dr. Ash.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Andre. I'm so delighted to be able to reflect on the importance of education and our part as a collective in creating an educational curriculum, which we're excited to develop together. And the idea behind, just for all those who are here with us today, to say that we'll each bring in sections of the curriculum intended to support education on issues of peace, conflict, climate change, and how young people can play a pivotal role in being part of that movement to address issues of peace and also to mobilize several more stakeholders in the process. So we'll certainly make this a very collective effort, but we'll all sort of work on sections of the curriculum intended to strengthen the inspiration and the action that's much needed today. So I just wanted to say that we're in process of putting this together, but there are a few facts I'd like to highlight in this that I think make this curriculum particularly important. Number one, by the year 2050, we're going to actually have over 1.2 billion climate refugees. And what does this really mean? It means that we're going to have mass displacement of communities. And as Director Amanda alluded to earlier, the fact that the most vulnerable, those who have contributed the least to the issue of climate change, will in fact be the ones who bear the greatest brunt of its implications and its impacts. Makes particularly vulnerable communities, many of those who are already in situations where they are economically vulnerable, geographically vulnerable, and also at the forefront of a lot of the climate injustices, will in fact be displaced from what they have known as home for all of their lives. And of course, this will mean that we'll have a number of climate refugees, we'll have people crossing borders. There are huge risks in that process, but also once they do, there are a whole new range of vulnerabilities that they'll be confronted with. And Dr. Chow already alluded to implications of heat stress. There are issues that Sam, and thank you very much for sharing the POP Africa and particularly the POP Nigeria initiative. But these are communities that will have will face issues of malnutrition, certainly sexual reproductive health issues, maternal and child health issues. And so at the end of the day, this is a multifaceted challenge. And so our curriculum is going to sort of cover a range of issues in terms of an understanding of what the issues are pertinent to climate change, risk of conflict, and implications for global peace. And also, very importantly, what actions we can take. So I think one of the key things that I will underscore in my intervention here is that focusing on the science of climate change and understanding the range of different impacts, and really nobody will be spared of these impacts we're already facing today, but will continue to face, and these will be exacerbated as we go, especially if we don't collect today to urgently address these issues. But in any case, we already have um, created a situation where we will continue to face a lot of these implications in any case. So being prepared, educating particularly the 1.8 billion youth of the world. And why are we focused on youth? And I know we've heard numerous times the idea of focusing on young people. Well, young people have certainly will face the brunt of a lot of these issues, have contributed the least, but also young people are least set in their ways. And we do need the science of climate change and an understanding of these issues to, to change behaviors. And this will be a very key part of it. And then finally, I want to say that young people have the ability to influence change in at home with their families, in schools with their teachers, and at universities with professors. And we need intergenerational action. So we look to young people because young people offer the potential to make that change that is much needed. I want to say that the curriculum will cover a range of different issues, from understanding displacement, the issues of malnutrition, how agriculture is affected, how this is going to and already does affect issues of hunger, and certainly also conflict. So, there will be a range of different modules which will ultimately formulate this curriculum. But the idea behind the curriculum itself is to have youth inspired by knowledge, to be able to strengthen our movement, and to be able to join hands. And I cannot underscore enough the issues of love, compassion, and empathy in tackling these issues. So I'm going to say that we really need to be able to create capacities of all our, brothers and sisters and parents and sons and daughters and everybody to be able to leverage skills which are looking at how empathy can play a part in embracing each other as a global family and addressing these issues. And so I think the curriculum will certainly bring to the fore a lot of these skill sets that we can practice every single day. And I also hope that will help in creating stronger networks and collectivizing us as the human family we're so blessed to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ash. We appreciate you giving us even just a glimpse at the complementary educational material that will be available for all the family members of peace and those wishing to grow closer to a culture of peace as well. We will be very delighted to announce further updates regarding the joint educational program in the very near future. We will now go into our MOU signing ceremony, in fact, and we will share a brief video. And in this video, we will actually be sharing a symbolic signature of the MOU by our Dr. Ash. Thank you so much. And well done, Dr. Ash. We appreciate the video and we appreciate this partnership as well, bringing our hearts together. And we will now take a time to have a picture with Dr. Ash Pachauri, Senior Mentor of Pop Movement, and Ms. Kwok Song Yeong, Chief Director of Global 05 Branch of HWPL, with the signed MOU document. We will now have our professional Zoom photographers to take some photos. And I believe we will also spotlight the MOU document as well. And so we're going to take 2 photos at this time. We're going to take one photo of just us all smiling together. And then we're going to take one photo holding up our right index finger. And we can unmute at that time and say together, "We are one." Is everyone ready? Just one moment as we get all the spotlighting arranged. Any moment now. There we are. Wonderful. Okay. Now, if we can have our first photo with us smiling together. And on the count of 3, we'll take a photo. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Everyone looks amazing. And now we're going to take a photo holding up our right index finger, the signature HWPL pose, signifying that we are one. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. We are one.
We are one.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Yes, I believe the Zoom photographers have received the, and so we will move on to the next portion of the webinar now. And so we're actually going to have a very brief, but yet hopefully interactive time to actually ask questions to either our hosts or keynote speakers. Please use the raise hand button on the Zoom reactions to ask a question and receive an answer in real time. Yes, I see HWPL Felicia has raised her hand.
Thank you for this session. It was really a great session. My question is actually for both organizations. I understand we all, as human beings living on this earth, we have a responsibility to take action and make things better, make it a better world, a better place. And also as a volunteer of HWPL or the volunteers of Pop Movement, how can we get involved so we can also be able to have take more specific things or take more specific actions after attending this webinar?
Okay. Maybe, yeah, since you asked this question to both organizations, maybe I can give an answer in the name of HWPL. About how to participate as a volunteer for HWPL. Well, first of all, we actually discussed this joint educational program today. So it will be held on July and August. So participating in this planned joint educational program would be a very good opportunity. And also the next thing is HWPL have 3 major events annually. One is held on March, or 14th of March, and the second is 25th of May. And the last one is the 18th of September, which could also be 8th of September this year. But yeah, since we have this major 3 events, yeah, you can also be a participant on offline about this event. And actually, maybe, I'm not sure if this would be possible right now, but since we are having this MO ceremony today, I want to actually also ask like Pop Movement if we can also co-host this September major event in HWPL. Actually, the name is World Peace Summit, which is the 10th anniversary this year. So really, I would also like to ask you about this after this MO ceremony. This is just a short message to you. And also, the last one will be, since HWPL is aiming for world peace, cessation of war, we are operating various projects, including inter-religious activities and maybe international law initiatives and peace education, and then also youth IPYG. So depending on the needs of each countries, you can participate in the relevant projects. So these 3 could be some things that you can actually do after this ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chow. I'd add a few thoughts, and I want to say it's such a beautiful question. Thank you for asking. So I just want to say with respect, certainly I believe the coming together in some of the activities that we have in the pipeline. I think those are great opportunities for us to have participation and engagement of the people within the room here with us today, and also those who would like who may not be here physically right now, but or virtually, but would like to become engaged. So certainly the collaborative initiatives that we are working on, we'll continue to work on. Those are certainly elements of engagement where we'd warmly welcome you. With respect to some of the activities that the Pop Movement conducts, I just want to say that all of us have a part to play. So one of the key principles in our work is really participatory. I think Sam alluded to that beautifully. And that is that, it's very important that we try and address issues that we feel fired up about, that we are passionate about, that are most relevant to where we live and work and belong, and working with people within our larger community to identify what the solutions are. And that's really what the buy-in for community solutions have their heart and soul sort of entrenched in. So I'm going to say that, if there's certain things that you feel really excited to work on, I think they count. So, there's space for everything and everyone, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. If there are ideas you're really looking for, we're always looking for people to bring in their skills and their expertise. We have much to achieve in this field. So if there's something that you'd like to bring forth as a skill or an expertise to support the larger pop family, we'd love that. If you're looking to engage, locally and wish to implement an initiative like Sam talked about, the Pop Nigeria initiative. I mean, our history goes back to Sam saying, "I really want to do something. I will do it," and I could use a little bit of support and guidance. And he might have had a bit of sort of encouragement, but he ran with it. So there's a lot that we can do locally with our community. So if that's something that interests you, certainly. And then, like Dr. Chow alluded to, we also have some flagship events. I wanna in fact share this. I don't think it'll be very clearly legible, but I want to say it says Human Fraternity for Youth-Led Climate Action, and we host these pop festivals, which are about bringing together young people and also people with experience to a festive space where they showcase what they're doing in terms of climate action. They amplify their voices, but also very importantly, we celebrate coming together. And the reason I wanted to read this out to you is because it says Human Fraternity for Youth-Led Climate Action, and our emphasis on love, compassion, empathy, and human fraternity being very key elements in terms of our values and principles in the festive celebrations of the these events, which we call the Pop Festival. And the reason also for calling it a festival, apart from the coming together, is that there's hope, and there's this great hope of being together as this united front. So we would love for you to be part of these festivals. But if there are actions you're doing, and no matter how big or small, they're worth showcasing, they're worth amplifying, and really the festival is a space to do that. So just in a nutshell, I want to say that these are some of the ideas, but the world is our oyster. So there's really, the possibilities are unlimited. These are just a few. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Felicia, for asking the question. We appreciate your attendance and your participation. And thank you to Dr. Ash Pachauri and Dr. Cho as well for answering the questions as well. There is truly so much more to learn and so much more to gain from this partnership. And I hope, including myself as the youth, we can all continue to be educated and understand more about how we can impact change around the world, starting from where we are. And so, without further ado, we're going to now move on to the final portion of our webinar by taking a group photo together to commemorate this time all together. And so we're going to do something very similar. We're going to have one photo with all of us together smiling, and one photo with each of us holding up our right index finger. And at that time, we can all unmute together and say, "We are one." Okay, so first photo, smiling. Is everyone ready? I see smiles already. Wonderful. All right, on the count of 3, we will smile and take the photo. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. I do hope my eyes were open. I will trust that they were. And now we're going to take one more photo, and we're going to hold up our right index finger and say together, "We are one," on the count of 3. Everyone ready? Yes, everyone looks ready. 1, 2, 3. We are
one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one. We are one.
We are one.
We are one. I want to convey a special thanks to our brother Levy as well, because Levy, you played such a critical part in bringing us together. Thank you, and a big hug and lots of love to you and to the rest of the family that joins us here, and everyone else too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I believe we were able to get the photos. Thank you all for your amazing poses. I think everyone here must have been models in this life or another. We appreciate everyone so much. And with that, we will now be concluding our webinar and this historic partnership, which will continue hopefully for many, many more events and times to come. Once again, I would like to thank every single person for taking the time to attend this webinar, marking the partnership between HWPL and Pop Movement. Together, and with the help of every person that is here, we hope to create a world of freedom, peace, and love. And we believe the efforts we make together will have the ability to leave a lasting and memorable impact towards sustainability and peace. Thank you to everyone attending from their various places, and I want to make known that we will be in touch with you very soon. I wish everyone a wonderful rest of the week. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.